Hello and welcome back to Eurofootball Daily. Today we're looking at the creme de la creme who never managed to lift the greatest prize in European football. Let's go. 10. Fabio Cannavaro. The only player in the history of football who actually looks younger now than when he stopped playing, Fabio Cannavaro is an Italian legend who holds the record for most Azzurri caps of any outfield player, with 139 appearances in their famous blue. The world-class defender won Serie A twice with Juventus and consecutive La Liga titles in 2007 and 2008 with Real Madrid. And he achieved the biggest accolade in football when he captained Italy to the World Cup in 2006, which, in turn, earned him the Ballon d'Or. However, for one of the world's greatest ever centre-backs, the closest Cannavaro got to a European medal was the 1999 UEFA Cup at the start of his career with Parma. Despite playing in the Champions League for Inter, Juve and Real Madrid, the Italian, who retired in 2010, never made it to a final, and the trophy is obviously missing from his cabinet. 9. Michael Ballack. Michael Ballack was famed for his commanding presence in midfield as well as his goal-scoring capabilities. The East German broke into the top flight with Bayer Leverkusen before moving to Bayern Munich after he impressed at the 2002 World Cup. He went on to gain over 100 caps for the German Giants and in 4 seasons won 3 domestic doubles. However, his critics, including club president Franz Beckenbauer, constantly hounded him for choking in important Champions League games, criticising him for not adapting his tempo to suit the more competitive matches. The versatile player did prove he could handle the Premier League though, moving to Chelsea in 2006. While in West London, he earned a league title and won the FA Cup 3 times, but also suffered some terrible luck. In 2008, Ballack and the Blues were runners-up in the Premier League, League Cup and the Champions League. Ballack retired in 2012 with 4 league titles to his number 13 shirt, unlucky for some, but unfortunately nothing to show for his efforts in the Champions League. 8. Hernan Crespo. In 2005, Hernan Crespo said that winning the Champions League would be a dream come true. Despite playing for some top clubs, including both sides of Milan and Chelsea, it was a feat never managed by the prolific goalscorer. Crespo had a run of unfortunate spells in the European competition, losing the semis with Inter in 2003 and suffering a defeat at the same stage with Chelsea the following year. He finally made it into the last stage in 2005 as part of Ancelotti's AC Milan team. Crespo scored a brace to put his side 2 up before half-time. However, we all know what happened on that fateful night in Istanbul. Liverpool came back to score 3 in 6 minutes and forced Crespo to give up on his dreams and settle for a runners-up medal. 7. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a self-proclaimed hero and legend, but seems to have forgotten that he's failed to go all the way in Europe's most competitive trophy. It might be slightly harsh to include him in the list while he's still an active player, but the Swedish giant has played for a record-breaking 7 teams in the Champions League and holds the unfortunate title as the most capped player to never lift the trophy. However, he has come pretty close. The nearly man left Inter a year before they picked up the accolade in 2010 and did the same thing the following year with Barcelona. It now seems unlikely that the 36-year-old will get his hands on the big-eared trophy in his career, as Manchester United are behind Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and even Manchester City as favourites to win the Champions League in 2018. 6. Francesco Totti. Unlike most in this list who've skipped between title-winning teams, Francesco Totti famously remained faithful to Roma for the entirety of his career, playing 786 times for the Imperial Purples. And following his retirement earlier this year, Totti stayed at the Roman club, becoming the director of football. Having debuted in the Champions League in 1993, the same year Harry Kane was born, Totti became the oldest player to score in the tournament in 2014 at 38, proving he could play at the top level for a very long time. The second highest scorer of all time in the Italian league, Totti netted a huge 250 for Roma, but only 17 came in the European competition. Although Totti managed to win Player of the Season 5 times and claim the World Cup alongside Cannavaro, with only 1 league title for Roma, it's clear to see that Totti valued loyalty over trophies. 5. Patrick Vieira. It's fair to say that you could probably throw any Arsenal great, bar Thierry Henry, into this list, but Pires, Bergkamp, Vieira have all gone without winning the coveted trophy. But it seems most shocking that the powerful midfielder, who was a key figure for Wenger's transformation at Arsenal, avoided the highest point of club success. Vieira made 76 appearances in the competition for Arsenal, Juventus and Inter Milan, but never pulled off winning the trophy. Despite this, Vieira proved himself as world class at club level, winning 6 league titles in England and Italy. The Senegal-born Frenchman also performed impressively on the international stage, conquering the world on home soil in 1998 and earning a Euros medal in 2000. But unfortunately, Vieira failed to dominate in the same way on the continent, with a Champions League-shaped hole in the collection of his achievements. But having turned his attention to management, maybe he'll accomplish it one day from the dugout. 4. Ruud Van Nistelrooy. The widely underappreciated Ruud Van Nistelrooy may not have held the trophy, but the Dutch striker does carry the record for most goals in the Champions League without the title at 56. The deadly finisher was lethal for Manchester United. After joining in 2001, Van Nistelrooy netted 150 goals in 219 games and broke the record as their highest scorer in the European competition. But it wasn't until the Dutchman left the club that United saw success on the continent. Leaving Manchester with an impressive average of 0.7 goals a game, he headed to Real Madrid, where he earned the self-explanatory nickname Van Goal, scoring 64 goals in 97 games. But his ruthlessness in front of the net was never rewarded at the highest level, and Van Nistelrooy has had to accept the league titles as his career pinnacle. 3. Ronaldo. While his namesake Cristiano has 3 Champions League medals already, the Ronaldo never managed to get his hands on the trophy. El Fenomeno played for some illustrious clubs, having his name printed on the shirts of PSV, Barcelona, Inter, Real Madrid and AC Milan, teams who have won the tournament a combined 27 times. But the best striker in the world somehow managed to avoid European club football's biggest prize, and he's actually never even played in the UCL final. But with 2 World Cup wins and a long list of individual accolades, including 2 Ballon d'Ors, the original Ronaldo probably isn't bothered. I wouldn't be. 2. Gianluigi Buffon. The shot-stopper Gigi Buffon has been at Juventus since 2001, the same year the first Harry Potter film was released, and when now teammate Dybala was only 7 years old. The keeper holds the most Italian caps of any player, and has played north of 1,000 competitive games over his career. Loyal to Juve, Buffon has worked under 9 managers over his time in Turin, even dropping into the 2nd division as Buffon stood by the club following the Calciopoli scandal in 2006. However, with 10 top-flight league titles and 12 Goalkeepers of the Season award, Buffon's claim as the greatest shot-stopper of all time is pretty strong, even without a Champions League medal. 1. Diego Maradona. For many fans of the Argentinian superstar, Diego Maradona is the greatest footballer of all time, so it might shock you to hear that he's never got his hand of God on the illustrious Champions League prize. However, this is mainly because back when Maradona was playing for Napoli, the Champions League operated in a different knockout format, which made it much more difficult to get into the final. Maradona may have carried Napoli to the top of Serie A twice in the late 80s, but the lack of world beaters around him probably stunted Napoli's development in the highly competitive tournament. And although he spent 2 seasons at Barcelona, Maradona's awful disciplinary record and generally being a naughty little sod meant his time at the Nou Camp was limited, which also hindered personal success in Europe's most coveted tournament. So that was the 10 best players to never win the Champions League. What did you think of our list? Did we miss anyone out? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this, make sure you check out Football Mundial from yesterday, and as always guys, make sure you like and subscribe.